Morning, I'm Steven Sprinkle. This is MorningBit. Let's get to it. Top 3 things I think are important today for Bitcoin. The first of which is it's becoming harder and harder for Bitcoin associated companies to obtain banking accounts. We've seen this from Silicon Valley Bank saying that it wouldn't work with any Bitcoin related startup because of the issue of anonymity currently in the digital currency space. We've also seen it from Citibank, and we've seen it from a banking institution in the Netherlands saying that they wouldn't work with any Bitcoin related startup because of ethical reasons. Now, I personally think it boils down to 2 basic things. You have the regulation aspect in these countries that largely haven't been defined for this new asset class, that thus make it challenging to determine what regulation you need to comply with. And then the second thing that I think is kind of an undercurrent that's motivating a lot of these banking institutions' decision around rejecting digital currency related companies is that they're realizing that a lot of the transactions that they currently facilitate would be taken over by these digital currency transactions, and thus one of the big profit centers for them would be eliminated. And so I think that's one of the other big things that they're looking at. They're kind of just looking at the bottom line and saying, we really can't allow this at the time. They're hedging their cash cow, so to speak. So I'm excited to see how digital currencies are going to disrupt the space and change the global financial transaction dynamics going forward. I'll keep you guys updated on that. The second thing that I think is really important is Directory.io recently released a massive list of keys, basically addresses for Bitcoin. And what they found is that not a single one of them, actually one of them, but the rest were not valid Bitcoin keys. And this really is something interesting to me because for a while I didn't understand how Bitcoin addresses could be secure when I could just simply generate them, and then what keeps another person somewhere else in the world generating the key and then taking the Bitcoins out of my wallet. This demonstrates that it's incredibly time consuming and unlikely that anyone's going to be able to do that. It really comes out to 2 to the power of 128 attempts that it would take for someone to be able to generate a key that was identical to yours to be able to steal the Bitcoins out of your wallet, or at least that respective address. So I think that's really cool. It gives a lot of confidence to the overall Bitcoin protocol and the storage of Bitcoin in those addresses. So I'll link to that, take a look at that, it's really cool. And then the third thing that I think is important today is the tax implications of the gains that have happened in Bitcoin. Specifically in the US, the IRS has not given any real word yet around how they're going to classify Bitcoin, thus the tax implications over it. With the massive gains, I'm watching this pretty closely to see what happens. In other countries, for example, in South Korea, I mentioned last week that they weren't going to be charging capital gains tax thus far on Bitcoin gains. They may change later, but really this is going to be kind of a country-by-country thing, and there may be havens for Bitcoin going forward. Potentially, for example, in Honduras, they're starting a libertarian society that's really Bitcoin-driven, so that may become a haven for a lot of the Bitcoin wallets that are out there. We'll see what happens here. I'll have a link to that article below so you can kind of look at it and understand the tax implications of the gains that have happened in Bitcoin. I hope everybody's having a great day. Again, if you're a company and you have a logo, send it to me. I'll put it on the wall. I'll talk about you guys. And I hope everybody has a great evening and a great day. Thanks.